We are all packed and ready to go. The only issue is we have identical hats. That is very appropriate at certain times. No. Okay, yours is your bill is a little messed up. Mine is dark brown at the base. And I've got Ryan here with the Little Debbie's within arm's reach.
Oh, yes!
There's 2 boxes this time. Try to get me out of town here somehow. Just go back to Arrowhead. Bigfoot with sunglasses. It's about a 9-hour drive from Duluth out to Teddy. And if we leave decent time, we get there with maybe an hour to shoot. Beautiful sunset, and right away, mule deer right along the road. Got some fun backlit shots. But the big story was there was going to be a major Northern Lights show that night. We're out here in Teddy. The Northern Lights are just blazing. There's Ryan. And trying to get bison with the Northern Lights. Lo and behold, we did find a bison herd along the road, and I thought I totally missed a shot, and I did with my good camera setup. This photo is with that rig, but when I looked at my iPhone photos later, I did get an image of bison and the Northern Lights. But yeah, pretty crappy from the iPhone 11, but hey, on Instagram as a tiny thumbnail, should be perfect. We blew it here. Time to move on. The campground was full, so we didn't get our pick of campsites, but we always get up early and get out like a half hour before sunrise. One of our goals on this trip was to do some backlit wildlife, and so you have to get out early. Found these horses on the ridge, and I kind of like the weird juxtaposition of the jet contrail in the sky at a nice diagonal. And kind of the first cool scene we really came upon was this herd of bison in the landscape. Unfortunately, they were still in the shadows, but man, it really kind of shows off the vastness of Teddy Roosevelt. And then some mule deer bucks. This is rutting season, or the early on in the rutting season. Yeah, always on the lookout for these guys. Those 3 big bucks, they went right kind of around that edge up into that draw. Ryan's gonna go this way, I'm gonna go this way. See if we can get another look at them. They led us up into this canyon. Got a few shots, but they gave us the slip. But one of them was a pretty big boy. One had pretty big antlers, like this. Boy, it'd be nice if they reappeared right there. Ryan got a few shots, including this beauty with the foreground blur. Check out his stuff on his Instagram. Really nice. But I didn't really, I got a few at the beginning, including this nice portrait of a decent-sized buck. We had a fair number of bison herds fairly close to the road, but when you see one, especially a bull with his tail straight up, yeah, give him a wide berth. That means he's not happy. Trying to silhouette, backlight some bison on a little ridge, erosional ridge. But they don't always want to cooperate. Oh, God.
Like everywhere I want to sit down there was a
Cold.
brown pillow.
But then I finally found my position looking through some red leaves, and it kind of all came together. Love the backlit breath here, that fine line where the ridge meets the background. This one with the kicked up dust backlit, a little wider, really like it. And then the ones shooting through the red leaves and it just turns, the backlight just turns the foreground into blurred bokeh balls. And, if you can get the bison silhouette, it's unique, it's distinct. It really makes it work. This turned out to be probably a most productive shoot for me, image-wise. All right, I think they've all moved on, haven't they? If anybody would see Ryan and I with the doors thrown open of the van, they'd pull up and say, "What do you got? What do you got?" We would have said, "Little bunny, just a little bunny." Or we would have said, "Little bunny, little bunny." They're cute, they're adorable, and they're a nice silhouetted pronghorn on a ridge with some cool diagonal.
Oh yeah, who's that?
Leading lines. I really like sepia for certain images, and this one really worked. Added a little dark vignette as well. Oh, is that an elk? I think I see an elk. Actually, this time it was a real elk. They are hard to come by in Teddy Roosevelt. Last trip we heard them about every night bugling across the Little Missouri. And this is a nice bull with a cow that we found. Highly cropped photos, but really fun to see. We were driving by and saw this water. We've never seen water before. And sure enough, a beaver dam in a valley. What was really cool is you could see that curvy edge there. They used mud to dam in the rest of the water because it was flowing around their wooden dam. But it's been a haven here for ducks, etc. Should have brought the floating blind. Huh. Beavers have been moving into a lot of formerly arid valleys in the west, and that is a good thing for water supply, water levels, and wildlife. Neither Ryan nor I are really that great of landscape photographers, but in this erosional landscape with hoodoos, and it's kind of hard not to take a few landscape shots. So there's a lot of nice detail in the erosion and colors. The clouds really make it. Light on these erosional features is amazing. And then there's these hoodoos. It's hard to scale this, but some of these are, like, look back there. Those are 60, 70 feet tall. Unbelievable. Oh, wait. I must be thinking of some other hoodoos. perfect situation for a time lapse for bison with a herd down here, and the clouds are moving pretty quickly, so I'm going to try one with my phone and one with Canon R5 with the Canon 24 to 105 lens and see how that works out. And by the way, have you ever held a bison in your hand? Yeah, they're not as heavy as you might think, and they love getting their back scratched. The cottonwoods still had a lot of color along the Little Missouri River, and we decided to check on the Prairie Dog Village, and what do you know? There was Lazy Larry. Yeah, he's the coyote we first met last October. And Larry, he's a little different. He likes to lay by prairie dog holes and just hope one comes up or gets a little far from its entrance hole, and he'll make a dash for him. And he's got these funny ears that kind of go straight out. He kind of looks a little bit like Yoda. Yeah, he's got Yoda ears. See? But check out the heat shimmer. This was kind of middle of the day. It was like 70 degrees, I think. And Larry didn't really do anything, didn't have any opportunity. He was getting tired. And so, yeah, we packed up and moved on. And so did Larry. Beautiful day at the visitor center. What should I have for lunch? I guess we've had the same thing for 10 years, 12 years. Taco dip. And after lunch, as usual, we sauntered through the Teddy Roosevelt Museum, and doesn't take very long, but this is cool. This is the hole in his undershirt when there was an assassination attempt, and the bullet was stopped by a notebook or Bible or something. But yeah, gotta wander through the old Elkhorn cabin as well. Ryan and I are back in Coyote Valley. Here in Teddy, it's a giant prairie dog town. I also have a GoPro set up on a prairie dog hole. I'll see if that works. What I'm really hoping for is badgers hunting with coyotes. This would be the 5th time we've seen that. Well, I'm not going to jinx it. We've only seen it 4 times. So we're going to sit here for a few hours, and then we'll maybe move positions. And so basically you just wait, and you sit under your camo netting and wait and wait and wait. And you know, we've seen so much interesting stuff in this valley that it's really the anticipation of seeing something new or cool that keeps you going. In the meanwhile, the prairie dog antics certainly keep you entertained. And then later, I didn't realize I got anything in the GoPro at the prairie dog hole until I got home, and I got this extremely brief clip. Yeah, this guy took one peek over the lip and said, "What is that thing?" and never showed his face again. But about a half hour later, I heard something that the prairie dogs heard. Some barking. And And this made the prairie dogs a little nervous. And they started their alarm displays. Eventually they all took cover, and I turned around, and on the ridge was a coyote. And he was much closer when he started barking, but yeah, he went up on top of the ridge and was checking out the scene. I got all tangled in my netting, and I was really struggling to even get these shots. As he turned to go, I squeaked to try and get him back. That was pretty crazy. Sounds like a dog barking, but of course it's a coyote right behind me. And I think there was two, but then one ran up right on the ridge top, and it was kind of cool. He was doing some barking, howling. Not your classic coyote portrait, but I kind of like it framed by the dead tree in front of me, which I could not move around. And this one of him yipping is probably my favorite from the entire evening in Bajoti Valley. But we're going to move on. No badgers in sight. So we're going to check one more spot. And back to Larry. He was still there. But overhead, had a couple of nice golden eagles. Look at the big full crop on that one. Must have just eaten a cottontail or prairie dog. But Larry was getting tired. We also kind of nicknamed him Downward Dog because of his yoga pose here. Well, we got our Downward Dog coyote buddy out here, same place as last year. And will his badger buddy show up? Badger buddies or coyote buddies? Stay tuned. Well, we're going to call it at ISO 25,600th at a 30th of a second. And it's really dark. Go back, make dinner, call it a night. Before we enjoy our Whirly Pop popcorn, I want to tell you next episode will be days 2 and 3 in Teddy. Fun stuff. Look for that coming up soon. Here's some highlights.